going on, guys? It's your boy Matt St. Jack. Whether you're an avid anime fan, a wee tadpole still finding your way, or anywhere in between, I'll be providing my opinions and insights on anime old and new. Think Yelp with help from friends and producers from other shows weighing in. I know you can't wait to hear, and I can't wait to tell, so let's get to it. This is Matt St. Jack with Anime Talk. Let's go.
I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
And I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And this is Collateral Cinema.
Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We are podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast, so whatever you have, smoke it if you've got it. And welcome to episode 2 of Bad Movie December. It's not December anymore, but carrying on in the spirit of our new yearly tradition, and what better way to do that than with the cage, bros?
Absolutely. We're raging with the cage, man. That's what we're doing. You rage with the cage, right?
Raging Cajun.
The Raging Cajun.
Yeah, so we are vibing with the 2006 remake of the 1973 film The Wicker Man, starring Nicolas Cage. This was directed by Neil LaBute, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. LaBute.
Right. So I've never seen the original, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. People say that it's also a batshit movie.
Yeah, it's just batshit in a completely different way, you know?
Batshit.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
I could believe that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I'll believe that both of these movies are also based on a novel.
Yes, it's called Ritual, I believe.
Ritual
novel, huh?
Very nice.
It would just... I thought it was like Stephen King when I first saw it. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. It's got a feeling of like different directors in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still just one director, which is
Still
weird.
just one director. Yeah.
You know, it does feel like there's different movies kind of stitched together here a little bit.
Yeah, like I thought it was like Shutter Island for a second, and
Shutter Island.
I thought he just came out with like Lords of War, and then Shutter Island happened, and then.
Wow.
I don't know. And then all these twists more than Shutter Island, really.
Yeah. It gets batshit, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
It really does, actually. And it gets even more batshit through Nick Cage's classic overacting performance. And it's just full Cage here. It's great. Also, we get some very memeable quotes from this film, which I'm sure we'll dive into later.
Absolutely. I mean, I fell in love with this movie watching it, man, because it's just, you can tell just right from the get-go that there's just something off about it, you know? Like from the moment where you have Nick Cage as this motorcycle cop looking at a goddamn self-help book for some reason, and it's like, everything's okay. And he just smiles, and it's just from that moment on, like I'm not sure what this movie is really going for. I mean, I did a little research on Reddit, and here in a little while I saw an interesting theory that I might bring up, actually. So, but Ash, this was pretty much all of our first time watching this movie, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much?
Yeah, it was my first time.
Yeah. Well, guys, what do you think about this? What are your first reactions to it?
At first, pretty much you guys are like probably thinking the same thing. It's like you don't know what the fuck you're watching here.
I know.
Like, what am I watching here?
It just kind of happens, right?
Yeah, it's the happening. Nah. But yeah, everything just plays out, and you just watch it, and it's. I have no idea whether it was like dream reality or I was thinking. At one point, I was thinking Tim Burton's like Big Fish for a second.
Yeah, it does kind of have that surreal quality to it a
That
little.
vibe of Big Fish. I don't know,
Yeah.
You know, this movie's got everything you really expect out of a bad movie. Loose plot threads, scenes that go nowhere and add nothing to the movie, and just a completely nonsensical plot that's never really explained. What's really funny about this movie is it would just be, I think, a played bad movie were it not for Nicolas Cage, who turns into so bad it's good cinema with just his cagey performance. I think he really sells it. In fact, I heard a rumor that Nicolas Cage actually knew that this movie was going to suck, and so he acted hammier than usual just to fuck with it.
I absolutely believe that because, I mean, he just chews scenery left and right. I mean, I know that that's kind of a common thing to say about actors in movies like this, but this is like the embodiment of an actor knowing that this is not going to go anywhere good, so he's just going to have fun with it, you know? So he just chews the scenery. Even in this opening scene where him and that lady cop, they say next to absolutely nothing, even then he's kind of chewing up the scenery that way, you know? Because, I mean, just that deafening silence and his presence there, it just, you know, covers it, you know what I mean?
He covers every scene he's in. Nicolas Cage is just he's always the chief actor of every scene he's in. Of course, that's not saying a lot because the other actors in this movie give, to put it mildly, stilted performances sometimes, and I think that part of that is intentional because they're like weird culty people, but at the same time, that doesn't excuse the lady cop or a couple of the other performers here that explanation doesn't apply to. It's like sometimes like it's weird, right? You know what I mean?
It's like, I mean, there's characters that they just have next to nothing to do for them. Yeah, you know,
it's basically like, Ghost Rider 3: Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah, pretty much like that, right? I mean, it's like. It's like the character Lily Sobieski's character. It's like, I mean, really, I mean, there's not much for her to do other than just kind of be mysterious, you know. I mean, but mainly the cop, the lady cop in the beginning. It's like she plays such a useless role. She's just there to give him the catalyst for him to go to the island. That's pretty much what she's there for, and that's it. I mean, I'm not even so sure that cops even get mailed to them, like personal mail mailed to them at their headquarters, you know? I'm not even sure if that's a thing or not. So, I mean, it's just odd altogether, you know?
The plot thickens. Didn't even know you had a plot.
The plot thickens. Yeah. And another guy that's just completely useless. Another character right there. He just pretty much gets really, really invested into the character's bullshit, and that's pretty much it. You know, it's just they're just being used just to move the character forward to where he needs to be, and not much else. You know,
that conversation in particular is being used for exposition.
Yeah.
That way it's not weird for Nicolas Cage just to, you know, talk about his life, but rather he's got somebody to bounce it off of. And so it comes off a little less awkward. Not quite as much as you'd hope to in a good movie script, but this isn't a good movie script. So I love how, we basically have this conversation for the sake of exposition. And that's it. That's all it really serves to do. And then, like you said, kind of move the plot forward. Okay, now we're going to go to Summer's Isle. And there's really not a whole lot else to the opening other than that first scene, what we haven't brought up yet, but that opening scene of the movie, which amounts to what? What purpose does it serve to the overall plot?
I guess it's supposed to establish that he's traumatized and that trauma comes back to haunt him a few times. But it's like, okay, first of all, that little girl, my God, that little shit. I mean, first, I think that she threw her doll out on purpose from the get-go. Like that's the whole thing. He sees the doll fall out of the car and he picks it up while he's on the motorcycle and he pulls him over just to give that back to them, you know? And then she fucking throws it back out again, like with this really petulant look in her fucking face, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm bored." It's like,
honestly, I thought Nick Cage was dead the whole time, like the Sixth Sense or something.
okay,
it was just weird. You know what I mean? I thought it was like we're in the dream world here or something.
All right.
You know?
Yeah, because what the fuck was that scene, right? Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'll tell you what, that little girl got what was coming to her.
Oh, just even when he's trying to bash in the back fucking rear window, she pops up and she looks at him like, motherfucker, what? Like pure contempt on her face. And I'm just like, what the fuck, little girl? It's like, okay, well, fuck you then. Okay, I'm glad that you blew up. But inexplicably, they fucking never find the bodies. How does that happen?
Yeah.
Why are there no bodies?
Why?
I mean, even in an explosion, there's going to be remains left.
I mean,
it's like, what is that?
They could have said that they were charred to a crisp and beyond recognition or something, but I think the implication is that they disappeared like intentionally, like they got out of the car, or I don't know.
Yeah, that somehow they are initially part of what brings. What's the character's name?
Edward.
Malice or something like that? Edward Malice. Edward Malice. Yeah, it's like, are you really going to try to have them become part of the fucking conspiracy here? It's like, I mean, it's really unclear as to whether or not they're supposed to be involved or not. So I don't know. It makes for an already nonsensical scene in a completely nonsensical movie.
Well,
you know, and it's not even the first 5 minutes.
Them being connected to the cult is the only way to explain the presence of the scene, because it's just this weird thing that happens to his character that he keeps flashing back to, and it's never connected explicitly to the plot. They never draw any kind of connection. It's so weird. I'll tell you what, though, at least we get to see that scene where the truck hits the girl several times. That's just
I know, that happens at least twice. It's like, oh my God. It's like he's just fixating on a random little girl, and then the truck just goes, and it's just like, oh, well. And what's amazing, he doesn't even really react to it. It's like almost an everyday thing for him. And he's just like, oh, well, what was like, oh, what was that? And then he takes his pills and he's like, all right, I'm going to go cage it up somewhere else. All right.
I'm Nick Cage.
I'm Nick Cage, so I'm going to do what a Nick Cage does.
That's right.
I'll be on SNL if I want to.
Stupid. Fucking stupid.
That's high praise.
But yeah, so weird opening scene, and then basically we get the segue into bringing him to Summer's Isle. And then right away, we get to meet these unusual characters that will form the majority of the cast from here on, and just Nick Cage just reacting to all of this, the cagiest he can with the script he's given.
Yeah, literally, they could have just. This movie could just been just about him just going around doing things and. You know, having no real interconnected meaning.
No, not at all.
You know, I want to say that this movie has something to say, kind of, somewhere along the line, because I'm gonna tell the truth. I like the cinematography in this movie. I mean, there's actually some attempts at a cinematic angle to everything. you know, but it's just the execution is what suffers here.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, the color grading is nice and warm and vibrant, you know. It's like most of the horror happens in daylight, you know. There's very few nighttime scenes here. And you know, he's pretty much targeted by a cult. So I don't know, maybe this is kind of like what Ari Aster was going for with like Hereditary or Midsommar. That's what I want to say. I want to say that like Midsommar is probably like the better version of this movie.
Okay.
And would probably be an interesting double feature as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so like this is like an early attempt at Midsommar. Okay, I can see that, or Hereditary. Yeah, I think that's what it's going for. I just, you know, ultimately, I think, you know, the script is what lets everything down, because you've got everything else.
It really is.
That and the performances.
That's the point that I was... Yeah, that's the point where I was going for, is that what really kills it is this script. This script is just nonsensical. I mean, what actually happens in this movie?
I thought it was National Treasure 3.
I know, man.
I'm
It's like, but Robert, you think that it's like every Nicolas Cage movie but The Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because you'd much rather be watching those movies other than Wicker Man. But
maybe.
Then again, this movie is entertaining as fuck.
Honestly, when I heard the title, The Wicker Man, I'm like, are you talking about the Iron Maiden song or the album cover?
Oh, fucking A, dude. Yeah, I remember that. I had that fucking album, Brand New World.
I love that, dude. Brand New World.
Yeah. And it had a song called The Wicker Man, and it was specifically, it was specifically inspired by the original movie.
I love that shit.
Oh shit!
Which, by the way, had Christopher goddamn Lee in it. Sir Christopher motherfucking Lee.
Christopher
the 70s
motherfucking Lee. The Chad.
70s Dracula.
Fucking Saruman, motherfucker.
Saruman.
It's definitely Dracula too.
Count Dooku. And Saruman.
Yeah.
That is Christopher Lee, Count Dooku.
And he was awesome in the original movie. I mean, he was like the best part of that movie. And what's interesting is how this movie kind of plays a lot of the story points of the original movie kind of straight, almost word for word, note for note, even. You know,
except for it being a matriarchal society, right? And
yeah, that's the only real difference that they really added to this was the matriarchal angle. But I mean, it pretty much plays out the same way as the original movie. But it's just like what they mainly took out of it, though, was the whole religious struggle. Like the original movie had a real struggle between the rigid Catholicism of the original Edward. I don't think that was his name in the original movie, but it's like the original main character, he was a cop. He was very pious. He was a virgin. He's supposedly engaged, but he never we never see his fiance or anything. And Christopher Lee is just in this character. His character is just this really liberated kind of, you would say, progressive even for its time, take on, like, you know, sexuality and whatnot. But and there's a clash there between that neo-paganism and that Catholicism that makes up the crux of that movie. And that's not really present in this movie, or at least in the script. You know, you don't get that whole religious struggle. It's more or less a personal struggle, you know, with between him, his former fiance, and this society that she's a part of. So
yeah, so you take away some of the parts that take meaning, you execute it poorly, and on top of that, there's just so many just holes in this. Okay, for instance, looking back on it now after the big twist, right? Why the fuck does he go through what he goes through in this movie? Like none of it makes sense. Like the amount of like deception that they put him through when it's shown that they very clearly can overpower him very easily. It's just like it absolutely makes no sense. None of it does. And normally in a movie with a big twist like that, you expect to go back and watch through the movie again and think, okay, so that's why they did this, and that's why they did this, and this was written in. None of that is here. None of the premise supports the conclusion of this movie.
No, not at all, man. I mean, the script is just nonsensical in ways that I can't even really, describe. But it all leads to just this almost stream of consciousness, especially near the end, where things just start breaking down for Nicolas Cage's character, things just go batshit insane from there, and then you're just like, what were they doing when they were writing this? I mean, like, what kind of drugs were they on? I know that's kind of cliche to ask that, but the writer of this script was on something really whacked out, man. I mean,
no kidding.
to come up with this. To come up with Nicolas Cage just in a bear suit punching a woman, the fuck out of a random woman.
Yes! Gives us one of the greatest scenes in movie history, in the cinema.
But here's the funny thing about that. In the original movie, they have pretty much a similar scene, except the main character is dressed up as a clown when he does it, and he punches a random villager who's trying to supposedly execute Rowan, the little girl.
Yeah.
But I mean, just having Nick Cage in a bear suit just walk up just silently and just deck this woman. It's just so perfect. In this movie, it just becomes a great moment of comedy.
I mean, what more do you want out of life other than watching Nick Cage put on a bear suit and punch a woman? That's incredible. It was just the one thing missing from my life that I didn't know that I needed, and now that I've seen it, I feel complete.
Just the fact that people came together, wrote that scene, got Nicolas Cage, got him in that fucking bear suit, and he just went with it. It's a marvel, It's a marvel of cinema, and I'm just like, holy fucking shit! Like it's like it's like a perfect storm of craziness, of insanity. And it just comes together in that one moment, and also the penultimate moment of this movie, which was not in the original theatrical film, but is definitely in the version that we saw, which is, of course, the infamous "Not the Bees" scene. I mean, dude, that scene has become such a meme that by this point that it's practically kind of played out, maybe.
Honestly, dude, I thought they were trying to put like the Man in the Iron Mask all over him.
Not the bees!
Not
the bees!
And then it turns out to be bees they dump over his head.
Yeah.
What's funny is that it's such an interesting study of why that scene in particular became so mimetic. Because for one thing, it's a scene that's in the unrated version of the film, like as you mentioned, not the theatrical release. For another, it's not the most batshit thing that happens in the movie, but for some reason, it's just the caginess of it, where he's not full power Cage, but he's high power Cage, and he's just screaming, and it's like, yeah, no, like I can see why this scene is so memeable, and he's just like, no, not in my eyes.
So he's basically Gear 4 Nicolas Cage.
Exactly. He's not Gear 5.
He's Gear 4 Nicolas Cage.
4,
and
yeah.
Okay, what Gear 5 being like Vampire's Kiss, that level of memeage.
Sure. But
Spirits of Vengeance.
Something of note, though. So I actually watched the theatrical release, and then I went and I watched that particular scene because I knew, it was important to the overall study of this movie. But and I can see where exactly it actually fit in the movie in the unrated cut. So I actually have now in my mind both scenes, and they're interesting because while we do miss out on the Not the Bees scene in the theatrical cut, there is a little bit more. There is a bit of unintentional humor that they add to it because most of the scene, like most of the dialogue, during that part plays out, but it's just voiced over the procession of people moving towards the giant Wicker Man. And so they sort of cut as the crowd gets to him, and they don't show them breaking his legs or whatever. No, it's like after they finish their little bit of dialogue, you just kind of hear Nicolas Cage off screen go, "No, my legs." And it's so funny.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because I think they added that bit in because it wasn't obvious what was going on. They weren't showing it to us like they did in the unrated version. So, which leads me to believe that was the original, like, shot of the scene, right? Was what we saw in the unrated cut. It just got cut, I guess because it was too violent.
Something like that. And it's not even really that messed up at all, really. I mean, worst thing they do is they just break his fucking legs and then pour bees on his head and then burn him to death.
Yeah.
Not the worst thing that I've seen. And what's interesting is that Nicolas Cage at first, in his press run on this movie, he was trying to really push it as like he wanted to make a really disturbing horror movie.
Yeah.
He wanted this to be a disturbing film.
It tries to.
And could you imagine what would have happened if... Yeah, could you imagine what would have happened if he would have succeeded? And this would have been on the same level of like Hard Candy or Funny Games or something like that, or like Cannibal Holocaust and that whole thing. It's like I could see that they might have gone that way. I see how it could have gone that way, but I mean, instead we got this absolute magnificent display of nonsense. I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's honestly the best way to describe it, the entire thing. And, because the movie's script is so weak, I think that honestly adds to the hilarity of it. It's just like this, like you said, like this perfect storm where you have Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage and this batshit poorly executed script and stilted performances, and that you know what I mean? Like that's the entire movie. It's just this like perfect combination that just gives you like that just makes it iconic, actually. So and memeable.
Afternoon.
Sorry about the...
It's okay. I'll get it. Give me your hand!
Edward, I know that we haven't spoken in a few years. I need your help. I have a daughter. Her name is Rowan. She has been missing for 2 weeks now. I fear she is in danger, so now I turn to you. Be careful and believe nothing that you see or hear.
Lost your bearings?
Oh, hey. Sorry, snuck up on me there.
This is private property.
Do you know her?
I don't recognize this child.
Welcome. My little girl is still here. She has been taken by who I don't know.
I'll find her.
If she existed, we would know of her.
Whose desk is this, Rowan? Hello?
You suspect foul play. The Wicker Man returns.
Who's the Wicker Man? I'm gonna search every inch of this town.
She'll burn to death. She burned to death.
I need your help.
Daddy.
But I'm going to go ahead and go a little further and say I think the director himself, LaBute, I think that he adds a little bit to it because Okay. On the Bad Movies subreddit, I don't remember who the commenter was. It was a comment on a thread about the Wicker Man. But this person, and if you happen to be listening to us, leave us a comment on whatever app you're using and let us know. But apparently, the director is an ex-Mormon. Apparently. And apparently this movie is supposed to have a lot of metaphors for him kind of breaking away from Mormonism. And that's kind of what the cult is supposed to be kind of based off of a little bit. Like, and that kind of goes into the whole conceit of the village, their main crop being honey. And that whole honeycomb diagram that you see in the bee fields and everything, and there's also kind of the parallel with the Sister Summer's Isle being like the queen bee, and all the men being like worker drones and whatnot, and everything, and supposedly that's kind of a reference to Mormonism because. Apparently, bees and honey have some type of significance in Mormon, in the Mormon religion. It has some type of significance. I don't remember what it is, but I believe that supposedly even the name of Edward Malice, that might even be some kind of reference to the biblical or the in the Book of Mormon, what they called bees. It was like a certain name they had for them. So,
not the bees.
Yeah, this commenter put forth a pretty interesting take on it. That this movie is really just about the director finally just breaking away from Mormonism and just finally having a more critical eye towards his former religion, and that's kind of what's being played out here.
Except that Nicolas Cage doesn't get away.
No, it's just, once again, the script is just so fucking out of whack that, that doesn't come through. And if it would have had a better script, I feel like those themes would have been a little better executed and they would have been a little more self-evident, But in the end, it's just all kind of glossed over with a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what the script just layers bullshit after bullshit after bullshit, and all those themes that the director was going for is just kind of it's just kind of thrown by the wayside, So that's why I say, I'm not blaming the director for this either, because the director was. I think that honestly, the director did what he could with what the script was, and he did the best he could, and. Honestly, like I said, there's a lot of real cinematic angles to how he shot this movie and the cinematography and everything. I think that it could have been a much deeper movie than it is, but once again, that perfect storm happened. And I have a feeling that even if Nicolas Cage would have had a better script to work off of, I think his performance would have been a little more toned down and probably a little more focused. It wouldn't have been the hammy scene chewing shit that he does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something that made me think about this movie. And it's like, yeah, it really could have said something about a very specific type of perspective, but we don't get that perspective.
Well, and it's ironic that what brings down LaBute's direction is the writing, because it's his writing. He also wrote the screenplay.
I know. That's what's sad about it. It's like, oh my God. What the fuck, man? It's like you could have, if he could have had somebody else maybe work on this script with him, it probably would have been a little tighter. Yeah. It's like, or maybe even just maybe farm the script out to somebody else and maybe got a script doctor on it to do a little work, maybe.
There you go.
I don't know. Carrie Fisher was alive at the time, and she could have given it to Carrie Fisher. She probably would have fixed it. That's something she was known for. So I don't know. For all we know, there could have been some script fixing on her part for this movie. I don't know. We'd have to see her credits for that. But Yeah, it's like there's just so many elements that just fail in this movie, but fail spectacularly.
Exactly.
You
Like
know,
fireworks.
maybe kind of in the same way that something like Troll 2 or The Room kind of had,
Lord of the Flies,
Yeah. Lord of the Flies was a good movie, though. Those were good movies.
That was a good movie. Good book, too.
Yeah, and maybe there is a little bit of a Lord of the Flies angle here, but
Yeah,
I mean...
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Lost, right? Shit like that.
Lost. Oh, no.
I was lost just watching Lost right after.
Oh, yeah, let's just do pointless lore for the sake of pointless lore.
Right.
Yeah. Seriously.
Let's just do J.J. Abrams. You just do J.J. Abrams.
Oh, God.
movies.
Could you imagine if this movie was written by J.J. Abrams? It might have been halfway decent. I don't know. He was kind of at his peak around this time, I think.
There you go.
I don't really know what he was doing at this time. He may have been doing Lost at this time. So
2006.
Like, I thought I saw, like, Highlander, like Mel Gibson, with the half face.
yeah.
Phallic symbol.
Yeah, I'm pretty
symbol.
Oh, that scene. Oh yeah, the whole
And
there's a
then
lot of really
and then the Wicker Man from Iron Maiden. That's definitely Iron Maiden right there.
fucking Iron Maiden. God damn it, Robert.
6 months later.
God damn it, Robert. No, it's not like Iron Maiden.
I swear,
Iron Maiden fucking.
I had the shirt like that, and then it was
yeah,
Wicker Man. It
that's
was on
because Iron
fire,
Maiden was
too.
referencing these movies.
It was on
They were
fire,
specifically referencing the movie.
I had the shirt, and the Wicker Man was on fire too. Like,
Yeah, I had that album, and that album was awesome.
actually got
Hell
that
yeah.
from that concert, and Brave New World tour, 666 tour,
So you saw them when that album came out.
2010. Yeah.
Holy shit! Oh no, that was way later.
Nah, but they were doing their 666 tour.
Because I was
in their
in Job Corps when Brave New World came out. So
Oh, I love that, dude. I've been just like, even just Fear of the Dark album. I love that album. Shit.
Fear of the Dark.
Fear of the Dark.
Fear of the Dark.
Or just all of Number of the Beast, the Trooper.
Why are we talking about Iron Maiden?
Because
what the fuck,
of the Wicker
Robert?
Man, dude.
God damn it, Robert.
And then
Robert, okay, here's the question.
Wasted Years, bro. Come
yeah, I
on.
mean, yeah, that's a great song.
Great.
Awesome band. But quick question, Robert. Have
So-
you ever seen the original Wicker Man?
No.
I don't think I've seen the original Wicker Man, honestly.
No, I cannot say I have.
Have any of us not seen the original Wicker Man?
No, I guess not.
What the fuck are we doing with our lives?
I don't know.
Some would say I've heard some say that that's the Citizen Kane of horror movies, but then again, there's a lot of movies that might qualify as the Citizen Kane of certain genres of horror movies. So, as far as I'm concerned, Halloween is the Citizen Kane of slasher movies. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts from Halloween to me, almost. If you want to make a good horror movie, you kind of
for what I saw from some of the YouTube channels that actually like compared both of these movies, I actually would really like to see the original the original Wicker Man, because I mean the only thing that I've heard about it is that it has a lot of those real 70s horror sensibilities, It's a lot more slower paced, it's more plotting. There's not a whole lot happens, but when something does happen, it might be pretty shocking, kind of like, The Exorcist or The Omen or, movies around that time or Don't Look Down, or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, the original movie at least looks like it has something to say about, the struggle between, paganism and Christianity, and that makes for a very interesting struggle. So, I mean, yeah, maybe we should do an episode on the original Wicker Man and kind of compare these two movies.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this movie right here, this is always going to be fucking remembered. I mean, just as much as the original is going to be remembered because this movie was just so fucking batshit, and it was actually the director trying to say something, but I mean, he just couldn't get it to fruition fully, I mean, I don't know I don't know if it was just lack of experience with these type of filmmaking, because I would say that he's even trying to go for something a little Hitchcockian, sort of.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's like it almost feels Hitchcockian in the way that the actual suspense plays out. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it feels like the director, he definitely has a good eye for cinematography. He has a good eye for, you know. For like color grading and everything, but it's like, I mean, that script though, you know, fucking script.
Is it quixotic?
Oh, very quixotic. You know, very much so.
And its lofty ideal of being a good movie script.
Yeah, what was up with the school teacher, man? Like she was really really forceful, wasn't she?
Oh, there's the Iron Maiden mask.
Oh yeah, the Iron Maiden mask. Oh yeah. See, we're watching a review on YouTube, and we have the actual movie playing. So Robert's watching one thing. I'm looking at another. God damn it! Us and our ADD asses. Shit.
Bees.
Not the bees.
Not the bees.
Not the bees.
Honey and the bees.
How do you guys figure this movie ranks in the upper echelon of bad cinema? I mean, this is definitely so bad it's good. It is, or at least so weird it's entertaining.
It's so cagey that it's good.
It's so cagey that it has to be good.
It has to be good. It's like pre-cagey.
I mean,
it's like the peak of the one true God's power.
exactly.
Yes, the one true God, Nicolas Cage.
One true God.
Yeah. By the way, join r/one true God. It's all about Nicolas Cage.
I think all this is just a prequel to Mandy, actually, just happening.
Oh, we need to do Mandy, bro.
Right.
That talk about.
Even Angry Driver.
Oh my God, talk
Drive
about
Angry.
no Drive Angry.
Drive
even
Angry.
Those two movies talk about Cage at his cagiest.
That's definitely a prequel to Mandy.
Oh man, Mandy is just beautiful, beautiful fucking movie. But yeah. How do y'all figure this movie ranks in when it comes to bad cinema?
Not bad at all.
Well, actually, if Nicolas Cage is the one true God, then where does Neil Breen fit into this?
Neil Breen is the god that bequeathed the one true God.
Okay.
He's the god of...
He's the god of all gods.
Of Las Vegas,
God,
Nevada.
He's the god of Las Vegas, Nevada. Exactly. That's what he is. That's his godhood. He's the god of Nevada.
He's 3,000 miles to Graceland.
Okay, here's what he is. He's the patron saint of Nevada. That's what Neil Breen is. The fucking patron saint of fucking Nevada.
Damn, old desert.
And this podcast, by the way. Yeah, Neil Breen follows us. We love you, Neil.
Wait,
we love you,
Tommy
Neil.
Wiseau is the patron saint of this podcast. Neil is
We have multiple patron saints, dude. Elvira is a patron saint of the podcast.
fair.
Oh,
I was gonna
much.
say Neil is
Joe Bob.
Neil is our god. That's his.
Neil is our god. It's
Yeah.
It's like Tommy and Greg are the prophets.
And Nicolas Cage is our other god. It's a pantheon.
Nicolas Cage is our other god. It's like I think we're going to just declare our own mythological pantheon of gods and the patron saints.
Yeah.
yeah, Nicholas.
Because I also consider Joe Bob Briggs and Darcy and the Mail Girl as kind of patron saints of the podcast, as well as the cinema snob. So Brad Jones,
Nicolas Cage is like a Charles Heston god, you know.
yeah, James Rolfe even. I guess he would probably be one of our patron saints. I guess, right?
James Rolfe or the nerd?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I mean, shit. James Rolfe, he is a filmmaker, so
Yeah.
he has made a movie or two.
But
A few,
but
just a few.
But I feel like this movie is entertaining enough to be up there with, like, maybe not so much The Room or Birdemic, but at least around Troll 2 or A Karate Christmas Miracle, and just how batshit insane it is, you know?
yeah.
Or I guess some would probably even say as batshit insane as Freddy Got Fingered, which is its own type of insanity. So
yeah. I would agree.
I
with
mean,
that.
some say that's a bad movie, but no. Listen to our episode on Freddy Got Fingered, ladies and gentlemen. Don't sleep on that. We have takes. We have takes on that movie that we're not going to get into.
Freddy Got Fingered is trying to be a shitty movie, so you can't hate it for that. Sorry, I know you said we wouldn't go into it, but
Yeah. But yeah, anyway.
Tom Green. It's his masterpiece, really.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And we got to go with that. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
Because even
Freddy Got Fingered for Criterion.
but
even when it came out, I was like, dude, this is the funniest shit I've ever fucking seen.
maybe that's an apt comparison though, because if it's to be believed that any part of this performance is purposeful on Nicolas Cage's part in spite of a terrible script, then yeah. It's totally got this like self-aware thing going on, despite the script itself not being self-aware.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Nick Cage such a great actor. You know, it's like, I mean, you could pretty much throw him in anything. And for a while, he was in pretty much anything because he had to. I mean, he was really, really, really behind on his back taxes for a while there.
Damn.
So he had to take work whenever he could take it, you know, and it led to some legendary roles, honestly, you know. I'm pretty sure Lord of War was one of those roles that he had to take, you know, and that ended up being a pretty decent movie all around.
Jared Leto in there too.
Yeah, with Jared Leto in there as well. Yeah,
I love that movie, dude.
Yeah, that turned out to be a pretty decent movie, you know. But anyway, guys, you think maybe we can get into final thoughts here?
Final thoughts.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what else can really be said about this movie that hasn't been said already? You know?
Exactly. No,
I mean,
right.
other than some of the thematic angles of this movie.
Other than it just getting more cagey than it already is. You know?
Yeah, Robert, give us your final thoughts. What are your final thoughts on Nicolas Cage and The Wicker Man?
The Wicker Man. Seeing it for the first time, it's like, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, really, dude. It's just like all this shit just started happening, really. But, yeah, all of it just started reminding me of like other movie scenarios, really, mostly. But, yeah, it's a great film, though. I would have to watch it again, too.
Now, would it rank as one of your favorite all-time performances by Nicolas Cage? Or has he done better?
One of his all-time performances, yeah.
Definitely. What do you think is a comparable performance of his?
Besides Mandy?
Yeah, besides Mandy, because Mandy is just like penultimate Nicolas Cage.
Maybe.
Of course, we haven't seen that, what was it, Wally's Wonderland? You know, where it's pretty much like a FNAF thing that he does.
Oh, where he's like a vampire.
No, that's Renfield.
Renfield. Okay.
No, this is the Five Nights at Freddy's clone that happened.
Okay, yeah. We're missing a whole thing here.
Yeah, where apparently he had like little to no dialogue. So
still want to watch Renfield though.
Ash, what are your final thoughts on this movie?
Okay, so why did the opening scene happen and that we keep getting flashback to? Why did the villagers put Nicolas Cage through all of this shit when they had the means to keep him imprisoned and sacrifice him whenever they needed to? Why did any of this happen? Why did this script get written? Why did Neil LaBute feel the need to remake a classic horror film? And why the fuck was James Franco at the end of this movie?
And Jason Ritter, too, right?
Yeah.
Jason Ritter.
Yeah, Dave Franco and Jason Ritter.
They were going to resurrect Jason. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. They were going to resurrect Jason
Freddy versus
to fight
Jason. To fight Freddy.
I guess Franco was just going to go full James Dean at any moment.
He was going to James Dean it up. And then
James Dean it up and then full go Tommy Wiseau.
Exactly.
And then Tommy Wiseau it if we needed it to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But why is the question I keep asking myself. But then I think, no, not why. Why not?
Why not?
It just is. There is no why, okay? This is a gift from a divine being who's known to the mortal world as Nicolas Cage.
Exactly.
It's like a last minute post holiday Christmas present. Just
It's like trying to define Rikio's powers, really.
I know it's very vague, right? They're just there.
It just happens, you know.
Yeah. Now, as for my thoughts on this movie, I think that everybody should watch this movie at least once. It's definitely something to behold. It's another example of somebody who was trying to say something but just didn't know how to say it properly in the cinematic context. You know, knew how to make a movie, knew how to make movies and shit, just didn't know how to bring this vision to fruition, you know? I mean, and it's worth the admission alone just for Nick Cage just being a weird, sad, misogynistic asshole throughout the whole fucking movie. I mean, he punches how many women in this movie? He beats the shit out of like 3 women or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, Nicolas Cage is a bastard in this movie. I mean,
he really is. He's a bastard and a half. And you know, he just doesn't give a shit throughout the whole fucking movie. He doesn't give a shit about anything. There's even a moment where I'm pretty sure that he was like fully shocked. It was that moment in the school with the crow in the desk. He's just like, "What?" It's like that looked organic to me, you know?
truly.
But ultimately, I mean, the script fails, and Nicolas Cage pretty much just picks up all the slack in this movie. And you know what? Universe bless him for this. You know, bless him for that. Because I mean, ultimately, that's what he's known for. He's known for taking roles like this and just making them his own, especially if he knows that the script is shit. So I guess, you know, thank you, Neil LaBute, for at least trying to make something interesting, and thank you, Nicolas Cage, for saving this movie from being complete and utter shit.
Well said.
I'm gonna call you the Lords of
Ash, you're still leading this. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, I was waiting. I was waiting for you to go. But anyway, so you know what? But anyway, and I'm leaving that in.
Don't leave the whole pause in.
Yeah, I might fix that in post. But anyway, you can find Collateral Cinema wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google, Good Pods. So go leave us a 5-star review or feedback on your platform of choice. Let us climb up the ranks. You can also check us out on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And check out our Patreon as well, where you get access to exclusive full-length movie commentaries.
And we also have a Buy Me a Coffee. So if you just want to help support the show through that website, you can throw us $1 or $5 there. And we also have a merch store on Spreadshirt. Look for us there under Collateral Media Podcasts.
Hell yeah. And I believe this month, January, we have planned a 2-part episode on the Indiana Jones trilogy, right?
Yes, and I believe that we will be joined by The Vern from Cinema Recall on that one.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. Unfortunately, we had to reschedule for another episode with Dads from the Crypt. So we'll be talking to them here pretty soon. And another upcoming episode, we have a couple of them. We're going to be collaborating with the Retro Anime Podcast to talk about the first Project A-ko movie, which is going to be all kinds of interesting because that's a very fascinating old school anime series. And as far as I know, it's only me so far, but we'll also be joining Cinema Recall on their show to talk about the Yorgos Lanthimos movie Dogtooth, which was which was his first movie and Lanthimos's more disturbing movie. It's a pretty fucked up movie, honestly. So look forward for that later on this month. And we also have our previous Bad Movie December episode on Neil Breen's Twisted Pair out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we also have all of our holiday content out. If you're still in the mood for the previous Christmas season, check that out. We have our collaboration with Victims and Villains on Eyes Wide Shut.
Lots of content.
And we also have our Director's Cut episode on Adult Swim holiday specials. We do the Boondocks, a Huey Freeman Christmas. We did Rick and Morty's Anatomy Park, and we did Strokers in Hoops. I Saw Stroker Killing Santa. So, yeah, look for those episodes as well.
Hell yeah. And we do have a year in review episode in the works. We hope to get out by the end of the month. Just going to go over, any of the movies that we would have wanted to talk about in 2023 that came out, but didn't get a chance to. We've kind of compiled a list of a few of them that we've since watched. And yeah, I'd kind of like to compile those and kind of do a quick review on them. So that'll be interesting. We're doing something similar with Collateral Gaming for video games in 2023 because it was a great year for gaming. Speaking of Collateral Gaming, this month we are doing The Witcher 3. That'll be a 2-part episode. And I would also like to get one or both parts of our anniversary special. This year being kind of the big, we've been doing this for 5-year mark. We're going to be doing a 2-part anniversary special on Fable and Fable 2. So yeah, we've been playing catch up on the podcasts a lot this season so far.
Yeah.
But I feel like, we're right here. We're pretty much where we want to be with the new year, and I'm excited for it, man. We've still got a lot of content to cover.
Yes, we do. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this season. And we're going to have our anniversary episode as well. That's going to be our Mike-versary. We're going to do Happiness of the Katakuris. And our 420 special is going to be Aqua Teen Hunger Force: movie film for theaters, which is going to be all kinds of badass. So, yeah, definitely stick around for those episodes.
Hell yeah. Well, I am excited for all of it, bro. And we are coming into the new year strong, coming in hot. I don't really know what else there is to say, guys.
Other than, that Texas Sundown will be out very soon, right, Robert?
No.
No? Are you kidding me?
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year? It is next year
fuck.
already, goddammit.
We were going to release
maybe the
it.
year after this year.
We were going to release it before
I'm kidding.
before the end of the year, too. Fuck.
We were supposed to release it in 2023.
I figured that it would be a 2024 release. So, yeah, look for Texas Sundown, starring Robert Ortegon and Ashley Chancellor and Bo Maddox and Jesse Ortegon. And it's pretty much produced and directed by all of us a little bit.
That means we're going to have to shoot more movies in 1 year. Actually.
We will. We will definitely have more movies out by probably by the middle of this year as well.
Possibly shooting more than one thing at once.
Yeah,
We're gonna
definitely.
Just different stories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely look for more short films from Collateral Media in the future.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Hell yeah. And maybe some YouTube content as well. So, yeah, look for that as well.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. I guess that's it. That being said, I'm Nicolas Cage.
Not the bees. Not the bees.
It's high praise, Nick.
But yeah, I'm Bo Maddox.
Robert Ortegon.
Ashley Chancellor. We
are
the bees.
The bees. We are the bees. Laters, y'all. We're out. Collateral Cinema is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and movie clips are owned by the respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.